Hello, good morning, all.
Hello.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning, students. I hope most of you have joined. Good morning, students. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So I think most of the guys have joined. So I think we can start the session. So myself Swati. So I welcome you guys to this new TPE session. So a small intro about myself. So I have been associated with this company called Accenture for past 6 years as a mentor and a designer. So I'll be sharing with you guys some of the process that we follow in the industry. And also you guys are welcomed with all of your new questions, you guys can keep shooting your doubts and everything. Okay, so this session will be mostly about understanding the different processes that we use in the industry, as well as we'll be working on a project as well. Okay, so we'll make sure that by the end of this session, I mean by the end of this TPE session, there will be a project in your hand. If you guys, work together. Okay, so it will be a group project. All right. So let me just share my screen. Mangesh sir, are you there? Hello.
Ma'am, do you want any help? This is some.
Uh,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. So can you share the list of students who will be working on the different projects?
I think
Do
we will
you?
be assigning projects today to them. I'll ask
Okay.
Mangesh sir and share with you.
Okay. All right. So there isn't any Excel sheet, right?
Yes, but that's with Mangesh sir. I don't have that right now.
Okay. So will he be joining the
Maybe.
session?
I'll inform him.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, please. Yeah. Okay, so since you guys have already worked on the e-commerce project so far, so we'll be picking up some projects that is a bit different from what you guys have done, so that we'll be having, you will get a different exposure to different kind of domains that is already, some kind of applications that are already there on the Play Store and already there in the market. Okay, so a group of students will be assigned with these set of projects. Okay, so Mangesh sir will be sending out the list. Okay, so based on the group, it will be a group project, no doubt, and you will be working on this particular, applications that is designated to you. Okay, so based on the topic that you will be assigned, you will be working these. I will be sharing with you certain processes that you need to follow. All right, so we can work on these projects with the help of the processes that I will be, discussing with you. All right, so if you guys have any doubts or if you guys have anything that you want to share, you can just, stop me and we'll just discuss about that and then we'll move ahead. Okay, so let's start with. Okay, so students, just one small thing that I need to tell you guys that these TP sessions will be completely interactive session. Okay, so I want you guys to speak up. So I'll be asking you small, some questions that you have already learned in your previous courses. Okay, also you guys can share your experiences, your examples or anything. Okay, so try to keep it dialogue rather than monologue. All
Okay, ma'am.
right. Yeah, great. Okay, so let's start with this. So we'll be starting with understanding what is design thinking. Okay, so before starting with understanding what is design thinking, let me ask you guys, what do you know about design thinking? Like anything that you know, can you please share? What is meant by design thinking? What comes into your mind when you hear about this thing called as design thinking?
It's a design process.
Okay, okay, good. What
Aesthetic.
else? Aesthetics.
Aesthetic.
Okay, no doubt. Okay, what else?
Creative.
Accessibility,
Creativity, accessibility. Okay, good. What else?
Usability.
Composition, usability, yeah, right. What else?
Reality.
Strategy to make something. Strategy to make something, yeah, good. What else?
Ma'am includes critical thinking to get solutions.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, that's right.
How do we
Research.
arrange things according to some principles like
Problem
balancing
solving.
or
Yeah,
repetition?
okay.
Research.
Yeah, that's right. Research. What else?
Non-linear,
Sorry,
basically
can you come again?
it is basically a non-linear process which can be differentiated in different forms to get the solution.
We cannot say it's a non-linear process. It can be sometimes linear, it can be sometimes non-linear. Okay, so depending on the projects that you work, it can vary. Okay,
Okay, all right.
Or
but
deciding aesthetics of something which
yeah,
is reachable to and can be communicated to everyone.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
Implementation and experimentation.
yeah, no doubt. We are experimenting with things, no doubt. Yeah. What else?
Development. Development.
Um, to be very honest, we are more into designing rather than developing. No doubt, we have to think about the development processes, but we are more, into the section of design process.
I think it
Okay.
is a process which is undertaken to cater to the
Mhm.
need of the users.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that is what I wanted to hear from you guys, users. Yeah. What else? What else do you think is so? Can somebody give any example of any design thinking process or any design thinking product that you see around yourself? Anything that you feel is a well designed product that you have. It can be anything. It could be probably
Ma'am,
the
the houses
laptop.
that we live in,
Okay. Okay.
like the houses
Man.
we live in, are a product of
Everything that we
designing.
use is
Okay.
designed by someone. Like there is a book in front of me or there is a mobile.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, the packaging itself as well as the product is designed by someone.
Absolutely. It is
A man.
designed by someone. Yeah. So let me
A
add to
tattoo.
this point. Yeah, one second, okay. So it is definitely designed by someone, but can you talk about some designs that are very much suitable for yourself or the users that you see around? Some such kind of examples. Yeah, so someone was saying something.
Yeah, ma'am. I was telling a tattoo.
Yeah, maybe we can say that. Some
Ma'am,
graphical representation, yeah.
houses, like for example, bungalows,
Mm-hmm.
they are
Mm-hmm.
designed to cater to the needs of particular user and not, I mean, in a rigid, formal way.
Mm-hmm.
They are done in perspective of what exactly the owner wants, right? Most of the time, not every
Mm-hmm.
time, but most of the
Mm-hmm.
time. So yeah, that is one example I can think of.
Yeah, that is a good example, no doubt. It's
Also,
catering to a large audience. It has many things that a user want. Okay, yeah. What else?
so there is a book in front of me. It has a title. It has logo of publishing house. It has a visual. It has synopsis on the back. So all these things are designed, but it comes under publishing design. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What other products that you can see around yourself? Can you say that the chair on which you're sitting, is it a good design? Is it something that brings out a comfort in you?
Yes.
Yeah. So any such examples around you? So let's talk about some, tangible products.
so there's this coffee mug beside
Mm-hmm.
me, and it has a perfect handle which fits into my hand.
Yeah, absolutely,
So
no
it's a
doubt.
good design.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that's a good example. What else?
Sanitizer bottle, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
spray which we used on top of the bottle.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And
My
fan
bag
or
is
AC be an
very
example
designed.
for the
Mm-hmm.
user's process that to cool the user down.
to maintain the temperature.
Yeah, okay, that's a good example. Okay, what else?
Ma'am, gaming controller.
Okay, yeah, again, that is a user-friendly design, no doubt.
Even the clothes we
Mobile
are
phones
wearing
we are
right
using.
now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so one by one. Yeah, I heard clothes. So someone said clothes.
Yes. Exactly.
The mobile
Okay.
devices we are using for communicating and other stuff.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Wireless mouse,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
can I speak?
No doubt. Wireless mouse, portable mouses.
Uh,
Yes.
the sofa I'm sitting on, it has a
Mm-hmm.
compartment where I can store the stuff and also use it as a sofa also. And it's yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good example again.
Washroom tabs,
Washroom
tab, knobs.
knobs. Okay.
I have a AirPods, means
Mm-hmm.
headphones, which means it charge itself.
Okay. Okay. That's a good design again.
Shoes, footwear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Table lamp.
Mm-hmm. Okay, see, so there are so many examples that is coming into your mind right now, right? The products that you use, the products that you see around yourself, all those things are designed in such a way that it caters to the user in their correct way, right? So the point is, just start observing around yourself when you talk about design. Okay, so it's not just about the digital interfaces that you see, it's not just the websites and applications that you make. Okay, and it's not just about the good designs, the comfort that you get from the products that you use. Okay, so from now onwards, remember one thing: when you look around yourself, when you use a product, just be just be a person who criticize about that product. Okay, start criticizing, start finding flaws in your product. All right, so what happens is when you start finding some flaws, when you start being thinking in a very critical manner, you start thinking that how that product can be designed in a much better way. Okay, so let's say for example the chair in which you are sitting, right? Don't you think that that chair can be redesigned in an even better way that can cater you in a multiple different ways?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, in fact, the mouse that you're using. Okay, so if you think in a very different direction, you can think in a context where you can have, maybe you can have a mouse where you don't have to hold it, right? So think in such a way, start thinking in such a way, and start, you can just make a diary for yourself and you can just write it down on a very daily basis that what kind of a products you see and how it can be enhanced, right? You know what happens if you start doing this, you will start getting an insight on how a product can be reinvented. Okay, how a particular product can cater to much larger audiences. Okay, so let me, if I talk about larger audience, okay, so let me talk about the mouse that I'm using. Okay, so let's say for example, a blind person, a person who doesn't have limbs, can the person use a mouse? No, right? So there is a certain kind of a limitations for a particular product that you see around yourself. So start being critical about the product that you use. So that is how you can, enhance or build up your thought process of how to enhance your product and how to bring out a best solution for a particular product. Okay, so if you start practicing this stuff, it will be very fruitful for you guys. All right, and yeah, the examples that you have given is a wonderful examples, no doubt. But again, when the time comes, I'll be asking you guys give me some examples on bad designs. Okay, and it will be very interesting to see that how you start thinking about a product in a very critical way. You start criticizing on the sofa that you're sitting, You might feel that it's giving a kind of a comfort. It has a storage. It might look like something that is a bit sustainable as well, but still you will think that there is still a scope for enhancement, right? So that is where, when we think about this topic called as design thinking, right, when you start to have a mentality of criticizing a product, or thinking about a target audience, a larger audience, is when you start being empathetic towards that particular, that particular community of users, right? So since you guys have given me some wonderful examples, let me ask you one more thing. So you guys must be thinking that most of the companies, most of the industries, they already have some people like developers, software engineers, there are certain people who are developing the products. ठीक है, be it tangible or be it intangible. Now you guys must be thinking that why do they need a designer, right? Have you ever thought of it? Like, why are the industry guys, why are the companies, they are hiring, especially a bulk hiring of, the designers, right? So can somebody give me, a rationale for why these companies are hiring UX designers? Why design is playing a major impact in, in evolving a product or something? Can somebody just justify why are people hiring so many designers?
I
For
feel
more understanding.
Yeah,
I
more
feel
understanding.
currently, before using any application or any kind of a product, the
Mm-hmm.
user is first seeing the interface. If it is, it is very good to see, he's interested to, use it or go further inside it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because
I
of
think
which
designing
designing has
is
been.
Yeah, one by one. Yeah. Okay. Who's the other person?
I think designing is more about generating ideas, and the
Mm-hmm.
jobs you mentioned were more about looking into technicalities.
Yeah. So why do you think that there are, why is there need to generate more and more ideas? Like,
I
don't you
think
think the other people has the potential to generate ideas?
We make their work easy. It's like theme wise, the color wise, they will get interacted more.
So is it just aesthetic thing, or is it just, you see, you can have anyone who will be having a good aesthetic sense. What
Yes.
else? What
Maybe
makes
it's
us apart?
combining of both the aesthetics and the best idea, which caters to the audience target market.
Yeah, the audience. See, what's the best part of being a designer is, we are such kind of a people who are very empathetic of the situation and the people. Okay, so the designers are trained in such a way that they have the potential to understand the target audience and the users who are using the product. So that is one reason what makes us apart, what makes us different from other people in the industry. Okay, so try to understand why people are hiring you. Try to understand that. Okay, try to develop those kind of context what people are looking for, right? See, we are not a kind of a people who can just get into someone's mind and understand their psychology and stuff, right? But we have we have a USP called as empathizing someone. Okay, the ability to understand the market and the user. Okay, which none of the people in the industry possess. Okay, so try to understand what are your superpowers and try to work on it. Okay, so I'll be sharing you some interesting processes, some stuff that is that only you guys will be aware of, right? And I'll make you guys sure that why you guys are different from other people in the industry. Okay, so for that, I need you guys to start working on the project sincerely, as well as you can just keep shooting your queries be it any queries, any silly queries, any silly doubts, or anything. Okay, and I want you guys to share some examples as well. So what happens, when you start sharing some examples is when you try to understand or relate to a particular topic, right? So the point is, see, this is one of the, a biggest, you can say, a eye catcher, or you know a kind of a storytelling technique where you can, narrate a story, where you can narrate an example and make people relate to what you're trying to say. Okay, so being a UX designer, guys, remember one thing: being a designer, you're supposed to sell your ideas, right? So for selling an idea, so make sure that you sell it in a right way. Try to create a small storytelling. Okay, it's not a very complex process, it's a very easy process. Try to find a metaphor for what you're trying to make, right? And it's not a very complicated process. Slowly and steadily I'll be telling you guys how to do that. It's a very easy stuff, just comparing, real world objects with the digital objects, right? Like for example, I can tell you, you must have seen in your mobile there are many functionalities where you can see the, the developers or the designers, they use toggle button. Have you seen that, a toggle functionality? Wait, let me just show you. You must be knowing that. Yeah, you would have
Yes.
seen this option, right? So this is something we call as toggle button. Okay, so in most of the pages, like to switch on your Bluetooth, to switch on your Wi-Fi, to switch on your internet connection, you must have seen this option, right?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so there is a very interesting story when the designer has actually developed this kind of a button. Okay, so you know what the person, while designing this toggle button, has thought of. So the person has actually thought of, when you switch on a light. Okay, you have a switchboard in your home, right? When you switch on and switch off your light, correct? So when you want to switch on your light, you have to just click on the button which is there in your switchboard. Okay, so you're already using this functionality in your real life to switch on your light, to switch on your fan, to switch on your AC, to switch on anything, right? So what the designer has thought of, why not bring the physical functionalities that already exist into the digital world, right? People are already accustomed with this habit of switching on and switching off, right? So why not bring this switching on and switching off functionality into the digital world, into in the form of this toggle buttons, right? So this is how you start relating the, the physical world with your digital world. This is how you can bring a consistency in different functionalities that people do. Okay, are you guys understanding what I'm trying to say? Are you guys able to relate to what I'm saying? This is
Yes,
just a
ma'am.
very vague example.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay. So so you are supposed to think in this direction. Okay, and it's very interesting, and it is, designing a product or designing or coming up with an idea. It's a iterative process. Just don't think that कि एक ही दिन में एक solution बन गया. Okay, it's a kind of a iterative process. You need to keep on doing some trial and error. You need to, bring something that enhances the experience of your user. That is what a UX designer is all about, right? So you need to think about stuff that, brings about a seamless and a wonderful experience that the person will never stop using your application. Okay, an experience like what Google Pay is giving you, right? When you open the GPay, it is so easy to send money to someone, isn't it? Even the elderly people are using it because the interface is giving you such a good experience, such a secured experience that nobody thinks twice before using it, isn't it? Don't you think so? And also it is giving you some benefits like scratch guards, and it's a kind of a gamification, it's a kind of an animation thing where people get very fascinated after seeing that. People, in fact, they, in the back of the mind, they even think that I may not be getting any money or any coupon, but they still find it, it's a kind of a fun to scratch a guard and to just find out a surprise out of it, right? So that is how fascinating, that is how experience matters a lot to your customers, right? So that is what a UX designer or a designer is different from all other people who are there in the industry. So you are someone who can enhance the experience, and it's a very big thing, right? You are enhancing the experience. Why? Because you are understanding the psychology of the users, and especially the target audience. Yeah, so that is the beauty of design, and I hope these things will sink into you, and you guys will start observing. You guys start observing your surrounding. I just tell all of my students, just start observing your nature. If you look at your nature, it gives a wonderful visual balance. Why visual balance? There are different colors, there are different amalgamation of different things that is going around, which doesn't distract you, but it does stay apart from what is there in the this artificial world that we are living in, right? The different colors of birds. Okay, so just start observing things around you, just start observing the products around you, just start criticizing things, so that it will be okay. So guys, just remember, you're not supposed to criticize any human, okay? You are only supposed to criticize the products. Okay, so that you can you can just think in a right direction to bring about new solutions, new things. It's not like that I'm just giving you a project and you're supposed to work on that. It's like design happens in day-to-day life. Everything that you do involves design, right? Even the spoon that you're using right now, even that has a design, right? The mask that you're using, the bag that you use, the laptop, anything that you see around yourself has a scope of redesign or anything. Okay, so any doubts, anything that you guys want to share, or any doubts you guys have before starting up with this design thinking, some processes and some technical stuff? Anything?
No, man.
No? So I hope things are clear to you, right?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So let's just go through what exactly is design thinking and how the people in industry, they are using design thinking process. Okay, and yeah, so I'll be talking about these few things. I hope you guys would be knowing about this already. Okay, so not just me, even you guys will be sharing some of your opinions on these things. Okay. Okay, so before starting with those empathize, prototype, test, and all those stuff, so here they have given a small example of how design thinking has helped people uh, during evolution, during a different type of iterations, during the different evolutions of various processes, building of different products, and all those stuff, right? So if you guys remember that the primitive humans, okay, the humans that weren't developed enough to think about various different types of products that can help them reduce their time or enhance their productivity. ठीक है, so during the period of evolution, people started thinking about to being as much as productive as possible, as much as lazy as possible, to reduce as much as time as possible, right? So in this way of thinking, in this process, people have tried to build so many things, right? So an example that you see here, The primitive human, they used to just carry stones on their shoulders, right? So during the period of evolution, people have come up with so many things, right? Some movable vehicles, some movable stuff that can carry these heavy objects easily and very efficiently. All right, so this is how people have evolved into. Okay, and everything that they have designed to increase the productivity, increase the the time efficiency, these things has always involved what, that is design thinking, right? It is not defined anywhere, like to create a, like creating a building, creating a vehicle, like there is a design thinking that has been evolved for over the past years. But intentionally or unintentionally, people have been using these principles ages. Okay, so let's just understand the different stages that we have in design thinking. Okay, so these are few stages that you see. That is first to empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and to test. So these are the five important stages that you will go through when you are working on a project. Okay, when you want to redesign a product, or when you want to come up with a product that doesn't exist. So these are five actionable stages. Okay, so let's just break down these stages and understand what exactly these things are. Okay, so let's start with empathize. Okay, so can somebody just give a small, a brief or an example or anything that you know about what do you understand by the word called as empathize?
Empathizing means putting yourself in someone else's shoes and
Okay.
thinking how they're feeling.
Yeah, right. Absolutely right.
Understanding the user's requirement in detail.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding their pain points and how to solve them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Understanding their pain points. Yeah. What
Inclusive,
else?
inclusive thinking, like
Inclusive thinking.
for all
Okay.
kind of audience.
Ma'am,
Yeah. No doubt.
it is basically a research about the user, how they are going
Mm-hmm.
to enhance the experience more, whatever is existing experience is better than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? So why do you think that it is so important to empathize the users? Why do you think so? I mean,
To
why is
make
it so
the
important?
Because
experience.
they are the only one gonna use it.
Yeah.
To make
Is
their
it just that? Is it just that they are just going to use it? What else? What else? Why don't we say to sympathize a user rather than we are saying it to empathize a user? No, I mean, just let me know if you guys know the difference between a sympathy and empathy.
Yeah,
Uh, yes.
observing the difficulties they are facing and making an action to to
With
make things better.
sympathy, you have third
Empathizing
person
means we are
perspective,
yeah. We are
and with
looking at
empathy,
them
you have
from.
first person perspective.
Sorry, come back. What did you
With
say? What is
sympathy, you are
sympathy?
third person perspective. With empathy, you have a first person perspective. You experience those things that you would want the user to, and then you think as a user rather than as a designer more.
Okay, okay, all right. So I'm getting what you guys are saying, that we need to understand their pain points, we need to understand them, so and so stuff. So how do you do that? Like, how do you understand someone? Like, in fact, even you said one statement that getting into user's shoe. How do you get into user's shoe? It's very easy to say that, and I again I asked you guys, there is a very big huge difference between being sympathetic and empathetic. So what is that major break point, what is that major difference that you see?
It's acknowledgement versus understanding.
Okay, is it just understanding?
It's actually more about feeling, I would say, like to
Ma'am,
actually understand or relate to what they are going through, and to acknowledge is something, you necessarily may not understand what they are going through, but you are acknowledging the situation, or you may say for a fact that I get it, where maybe I may not understand what you're going from, but I get it, kind
Okay.
of something like that. Not exactly, I guess, maybe I'm getting a bit controversial, not saying the right thing, so sorry.
No, 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 that's fine.
Trying
That's fine. I
might
mean, I
might be
get
the
it.
word.
Yeah.
Trying might be the word.
ma'am, empathizing means be relate to that problem because we also sometimes face it.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, maybe.
Okay. Okay. What else? What else do you guys think?
I think it's like more like seeing things in from their point of view, and
Mm-hmm.
also putting us like thinking what would you do if you were in their place? What actions would you take if you were in their place?
What actions would you take if you were in their place? Okay. But there is more to it. So, can somebody give me an example of what exactly an empathy can be? Any random, any vague example. Any stupid example also will work. Because I want you guys to understand. You know, this is one of the most primary and one of the most concrete step, and this will actually can crack your design if you do it in a very right way. So this is very important to understand what exactly is empathy.
So if there is if my teacher is explaining something and I couldn't understand it, and my
Mm-hmm.
friend also couldn't understand it, then I can empathize with my friend. But if I get what my teacher is saying, but my friend couldn't, and I still feel sad for him, then I am sympathizing with him.
Can you again come up with what you have said for empathy?
Empathy is when I am in the same situation as my friend. Like if I'm not able to understand a sum or a
Mm-hmm.
paragraph, and my
Mm-hmm.
friend couldn't understand it as well, then I
Mm-hmm.
can sympathize with him. That we are both in the same situation, and I can exactly feel those same things which he's feeling at the moment.
Okay.
But if my friend doesn't get it and I do get it, then I can at least sorry, I said the reverse thing.
It's okay, but I
Sympathizing
get
is
it.
when we are both not getting it and I can feel what he's feeling. That is sympathize. And if
Mm-hmm.
I get it and he doesn't, then I can at least sympathize with him.
Okay, so in short, what you're saying is being in that exact situation what the other person is going through, right?
Yes.
That is when you can exactly feel what the person is going through, right?
Yes, so
Okay,
I'm
so
empathizing.
let me ask you guys one thing. So if I want to build a product for someone who is a blind person, okay, and I have to be empathetic about that person, so how will you bring yourself into that situation? Like, are you going to just tie a band on your eyes and move around and feel the situation? Are you guys going to do that? Do you think the industry, the company will give you such an amount of a time to be yourself in that situation and build a product?
Maybe I can talk to
Maybe I'll be
many people who are in the same situation so I get the better understanding.
Yeah.
maybe I'll be observing his daily activity, and
Hmm.
will be seeing his difficulty, and what I can give him the better.
Okay, okay. So I get observation has one keyword. Okay, what could
Maybe
be the
trying
other
to
keyword?
think from his point of view.
Sorry, what point of view?
Maybe trying to think from his point of view.
How can you think on his point of view? Because you're not someone who is blind, right? Because
Yes.
this is what we need to understand. We need to understand what exactly the
Maybe a
person is going
comparison.
through. Comparison of what?
Comparison, as in he's a blind, and his way of understanding or feeling a object will be a different thing, and mine experience may be a different thing. Maybe I can, do some kind of a conversation
Mm-hmm.
and
Correct.
understand how he
So
feels it and how I am feeling it.
I get the other keyword, that is conversation. Basically, you're talking with the person to understand him. Okay. What else would be the other way?
Taking interviews or survey.
Yeah, that will come inside conversation. Basically, the interviews, what you're saying, we are talking with the person, right? What else can be the other thing that we can help in empathizing a person? Okay, so I just understand one thing, that you guys are very well aware of what is the difference between sympathy and empathy. That is a good thing. But let me tell you guys, empathize is much more than what you are thinking. Okay, empathize is not an easy thing. Okay, to be very honest, there are many people in the design industry who fail to empathize many of the audiences, right? It's not an easy thing to empathize the users, right? So understand one thing, there is a different steps that you need to consider when you are empathizing a situation. Okay, which needs to be considered when you are in the empathize phase. Okay, so let me tell you guys one thing, when you start up with your project, you start with this phase called as empathize stage, right? So when you are assigned an project, okay, say for example you have an application called as a tracker. Okay, you are working on a tracking application, right? So first of all, what you are supposed to do is you are supposed to understand who are your users, who are those target audience. Okay, the problem happens is most of the people, they doesn't understand who are their exact target audience, or who are their exact, you know, who are the right users for their product. Okay, so the first point that you need to understand is try to understand who are the users first of all. Okay, just forget about the blind example that I've told you. That is a very extreme example. Okay, let's just talk about people where we can have a larger target audience. Okay,
Ma'am,
let's just start it with a simple, huh?
is it more about that you need to relate to the problems of the users?
Definitely, you need to relate that. Okay, what you guys are saying is not wrong. Okay, that is very much correct. Okay, but what happens is, suppose, say, for example, if someone is asking you this question as, how can you explain empathize? Okay, so the explanation that you guys are giving, that isn't enough, right? Because it's very easy to say, to be in someone's shoes, to understand someone, to observe someone, to talk with the person, right? So I'm just giving you a way how to explain empathize in a right way, so that the person who is asking you will understand what you're trying to say. Okay, because I
Okay, ma'am,
said,
got it.
yeah, because I said you empathize is one of the very important and very critical stage, right? So okay, so I was at this point where I was talking about the target audience, right? So when you talk about empathize, you need to first consider your target audience, who are your audience, understand what age bracket is important. Okay, that matters a lot. Okay, age bracket is something that is very important, because based on the age bracket, the behavior of people changes accordingly. Understand, like for example, if I say, if we belong to a generation where we are very much obsessed with the usage of Instagram, right? And just above our age bracket is some kind of a people who are still obsessed with this platform called as Facebook, right? So if you think that you are a person who belong to a category who is obsessed with Instagram, you won't understand why there are people who are still obsessed with Facebook, right? You can't assume what others think and feel, right? Empathize is not something where you create story based on assumption. Okay, empathize is a stage where you need to understand the user by asking him a different type of questions. ठीक है, why I'm telling you a different type of question is, see, the the design of the question also matters, right? If you ask the right question to the right person, that is when you will start getting the right answers for building your product, right? That matters a lot. A correct question. ठीक है, if you are, if I ask you to build a product for a blind person, if you directly go to him and you start asking him questions, you are not empathizing the person, right? Before building a product for a blind person, you need to start observing how the person functions with the products around himself without looking at the product with that particular challenge, right? You need to have that critical observation. That is very important. Observation is not just a word. You need to think in a very different dimensions, like when the person sit for having a food, how does he eat the food, right? How does he check his time, right? So there are different dimensions that you need to think, and also according to different age group. In fact, if you're talking about building a product for blind, in, even in that stage, you need to also consider about the different age group. That even that matters a lot, right? So empathize doesn't mean just directly go into the user and just attack him with questions. That doesn't work like that. You need to observe your surrounding. You need to have a desk study. ठीक है, desk study, what does desk study means? You need to, go through some research articles, some case studies. You need to have, you need to know the exact story through the resources that you have, right?
Ma'am, but shouldn't we consider all the demographics or only age at this point?
At what point?
Like you're saying in this case, the blind person's case.
Yeah, so see, let me just come back to the age bracket also. Okay, so it also depend upon what kind of a product you are building. Okay, that matters a lot. So it depends upon the type of the product also you make. Okay, it was just an example that I was giving you.
Okay.
ठीक है, so I'll just take this thing slowly so that you will understand, it in a very easy way. ठीक है, so what I'm saying is empathize is a stage where you need to start with a desk study. ठीक है, डेस्क स्टडी में क्या होता है? यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड द बैकग्राउंड, यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड ईच एंड एवरी एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ दैट ए पर्टिकुलर थिंग दैट यू आर ट्राइंग टू बिल्ड. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट व्हाट यू कैन डू इज, नेक्स्ट यू कैन स्टार्ट विथ ऑब्जर्विंग. ठीक है, ऑब्जर्विंग द पर्सन हु विल बी यूजिंग द प्रोडक्ट, ऑब्जर्विंग द सराउंडिंग ऑफ दैट पर्सन. ठीक है, एंड द थर्ड थिंग व्हाट यू कैन डू इज try to build a good designed questionnaire. A good questionnaire matters a lot. Okay, so we will be talking about that questionnaire in the coming TPE sessions, so don't worry about that. Okay, so you will understand that what a right questions can bring about the right pain points or the the right experiences that you want to include in your product, how you can do that. Okay, so the point is, it's just not that you're building a product. It is important to design a correct questionnaire also, right? In fact, if you have observed what I have said, that I'm not telling you you're supposed to write a questionnaire. I'm telling you to design a questionnaire. ठीक है, and once you come up with the questions, you need to ask the person these type of questions, and there is a chain of questions that will come up, right? And it's not just that you're asking the persons the question, right? You need to start asking the person's feedback. You need to ask what are his needs. Okay, but you need to ask in a very right manner. That matters a lot. Okay, so so depending upon different projects, depending upon different situations, different types of processes can be used in this particular stage. Okay, so understand one thing, how you can start with empathize stages. Try to understand your target audience. Okay, try to observe what is going around. Okay, have a good desk study. Okay, when you have a desk study is when you can come up with correct questions. Okay, and listen, there is one very important thing. You cannot be some kind of a person like you can't say that I am very good at empathizing someone, right? This is something that will evolve with the practice you will be having around the years. It will take time. It won't be built within a day or a 2 day, or if you do 6 7 projects in a week or something. It sinks into you in a very slow process. Okay, so don't worry about this thing. Okay, don't get too much anticipated about thinking that how will I empathize someone. The example that I was giving for the blind person was very extreme. That was something that I need to make you understand how empathy will work in such conditions. Okay, that is a different set of target audience. So you right now you won't be working on such type of an audience. You will be working on such type of an audience where you can have a majority of people. Okay, so try to empathize with people for a larger audience and then break down. Okay, and slowly and steadily you will start learning it. Understood? And keep reading as much as articles as possible. That is one way, to understand what people think. Understood? Is there any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, I hope it's clear, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and don't worry about the stage. So we'll be working on these separate stages for the projects that you have been assigned to. Okay, so once you start working on the projects, so what from next session onwards, what you guys are supposed to do is, you guys are supposed to start with the assignment that I will be giving you. Okay, you guys will be sharing your assignment with me. We'll be having an half an hour, 45 minutes discussion. Okay, of what I have asked you to do. Okay, so through that you will get to understand what are the loopholes that you are having. Understood? Okay, so next phase is to define. Okay, so define is one of the very important stage after empathy. Okay, see, once you empathize your target audience, what happens next is you gather so many data, isn't it? You have so many data collection in your hand. Correct. Now what comes into your mind is how do I gather this data and how do I create a problem statement out of this? Right, it becomes so difficult, right, when you have a conversation with someone, when you get some survey forms from a particular set of a people or a community. You see there are so many information, there are so many pain points, right? It gets kind of very confused how to plot it in a very right way, how to target a common particular pain point and build a solution for that, right? So define is a stage where you can have a brainstorming session with your colleagues. Okay, and you can narrow down a particular problem that will cater to larger audience. Understood? So from the learnings and the observations that you get from your empathize stage, you can narrow down those data that you have collected to bring it to a problem statement. Okay, again, what I'm telling you about the define here is it's a very theoretical way. Okay, so once you start working on your projects, you will get a very practical thought process of how to apply these defined stage in the data that you have collected. Okay, so again I'm telling you, don't worry about this processes. You will be learning with the projects along wise. Okay, so just understand it theoretically for now. Okay, so also one more thing. See, being a designer, what happens is we go sometimes, out of the box, out of the way of thinking, right? So once you are tied up with a company, once you're working for a industry or something, so there are a particular set of business goals that you are supposed to follow, right? So there will be a client who will be having, some, maybe say for example he has some limited budget, right? He must be having a limited time, right? These factors affects a lot. Okay, so when you are building a product or something, business goals is something that you always need to keep in your mind. Okay, and don't worry about this. This will be handled alongside when you are creating the product. Okay, there are people in the industry who will be handling this. Okay, so the next stage that comes in is ideate. Okay, ideate is a stage where most of the designers love to do, right? That is when you start creating all your creativity, all your aesthetics, all your all those examples and references that you have found across all the things. You start putting up these things in your frame, right? This is where you start building your wireframes. This is the point when you start building your ideas into, into a visual design, right? And the next phase is to prototype, right? Okay, so can somebody tell me why is it, what is a prototype and why is it so important that it's a part of a design thinking process? Are you guys aware of this thing called as prototyping or prototyping a product or something?
Yes.
Yeah, so can,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, so what does it mean? Why is it important and why is it there in this design thinking process?
Because if it, okay, sorry.
Yeah, go on, go on.
If we directly make the final output, then there will be no chance to do any alterations afterwards. So if we do a prototype before and let people use it, then we can understand where where we can still be lacking, and add those things in our final output.
Okay, you will get to know what are the things that can be enhanced or something, right? That is what you're saying. Okay, that is right, no doubt. What else?
Prototyping can let us focus on the problems with our design. What problems we have not considered yet can be discovered in
Correct.
the prototype.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. What else?
Also, it gives
Ma'am,
a visual representation of how it will actually look, what we have ideated before.
Correct. What
it
else?
is possible to understand the unnecessary elements, means which
Hmm.
elements that are unnecessary and that are best when they are abandoned. So we can that identify that unnecessary elements.
Okay, that's right.
Ma'am,
What
prototype is
else?
a scaled down version of a product that shows important functions.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so yeah, what you guys are saying is correct, but there is one thing that is missing. So, if you guys remember, I have told you something that is called as experience, right? As a designer, as a UX designer, we are assigned with a very, a very important task, that is to enhance the experience for the user, right? So once you come up with your visual designs and everything, those are static images, isn't it? You want to know what experiences can you add inside your visual, those static components and functionalities. right? So prototyping is where you can explore the different kinds of interactions that you can have in your product. Understood? So say for example, if you want to go from one page to another page, okay, so you can give some kind of an interaction. It could be any type of an interaction. You can give some kind of an animations. You can think about it, right? You can think about some sound effect. I'm not talking about adding the sound effect. I'm talking about think about a sound effect, right? Like for example, let me give you an example of Zomato. Once you order a food from Zomato, it gives you a sound effect, right? If you guys have observed it, isn't it?
Yes.
Right? So it's a kind of an experience that Zomato is giving to its target audience, right? That tone, or you can say that sound, that is fascinating people, that is giving a sense of, a feeling that yes, the food will be coming to me within some time, right? So this is the period where you can explore certain things that can enhance the experience in your visual design. Not just the sound, it can be any kind of animation also. Okay, like for example, let me give you a very simple and small example. Okay, let me give you the example of Zomato itself. So when you apply a coupon code, okay, when you apply a coupon code, so it gives you a small pop-up kind of a thing where it tells you you have saved an amount of rupees 100. Okay, and then you will see a small animation that comes behind, a confetti kind of an animation. Have you seen that? Have you observed that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you have seen that, right? There is a small micro animation that goes behind. Again, that is an experience, isn't it? See, things like this will not come into a mind of a developer or a tester or anyone who is there in the industry, right? So that is us who can provide these kind of, fascinating and, some engaging experiences for our customer. So these things can be used when you are prototyping your product. Okay, in fact, to be very honest, if you can't come up with building such animations and all, you can propose it, right? You can give a proposal idea also. So it doesn't matter, but what matters is what thought process you bring into the table when you're creating a product, right? Next comes is testing. So can somebody tell me ki why testing is an important stage? Why testing? Why can you not skip this thing called as testing?
Testing can show us the problems, bugs in our design.
Okay, that's right.
By testing, we can understand the if we have left out some points or anything to be added,
Mm-hmm.
or is it user friendly or not.
Yeah, correct. No doubt.
Ma'am, as you said, experience is important.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the prototype will help us understand exactly what experience are we giving to the user, and is that what actually we were trying to achieve or not.
Correct, correct, correct. So what we do is mostly, so it's not like the final testing that we do. Okay, like the product is developed and then we are testing. It's not just that. So before getting things into a development stage, before that, what we do is we prototype the visual designs. Okay, we send the prototype with the users. ठीक है, if I have a set of a particular target audience, what will I do is I'll create the prototype for those audience and send it with them, and I will ask them to perform a task. Okay, so while performing a task, I'll try to understand what are the pain points or what are the coming problems that they are facing because of this product that we have designed, right? So these things matters a lot. So this is something that we call as test. So we need to test what we have built. It's very important, right? हमने प्रॉब्लम के बारे में सोचा, सॉल्यूशन भी बना दिया और ऐसे ही छोड़ दिया, ऐसे तो नहीं चलेगा, isn't it? We need to check what we have made. Is it bringing the best experience for our customer or not, right? So that is why testing is equally important than what you think about empathize, ideate, prototype and stuff, right? So when you test, when you do usability testing and stuff, you will get to know what are other problems that still exist. Okay, so initially also I have told you, right? Building a solution for a particular problem is not a one day thing, right? It's an iterative process. Iterative process means what? It's a trial and error kind of a thing. You build something, you check it with your customers. If your customers are still finding some flaws or still finding some difficulty in completing a task, you need to come back and resolve those problems and then release the product. That is how it works, right? And this is very important to do. It's very critical stage, right? It's not like building a perfect product, but it's like build a product where we can look at minimizing as much as problems as we can, right? Like for example, I can give you a small example. If there is a particular task that you're supposed to do in your mobile application, okay, let's say for example the task is, let's take an example of e-commerce platform. E-commerce platform, and let's say it's Amazon. Okay, so in Amazon, if I want to buy a product, okay, I have to go through 10 steps. ठीक है, 10 steps मतलब क्या? I have to search a product. Okay, I will be searching for the different colors or different factors that I am looking for. I will be comparing the product with something, right? And then I will be adding the product to a cart. And after adding a product to a cart, I will be adding my delivery address, payment details and all those stuff. So I have to go through 10 steps. It's an example, okay? It's just saying it would be a 10 step. ठीक है? So after doing a test, what you will find is the customers has to go through 10 different steps to complete a particular task. So what you can do is you can come up with the idea where the user can complete this particular task maybe in 5 or 6 steps. Just think of it. If the user is able to buy a product in 5 or 4 steps, how easy it would be for your customers. Your customer would be so happy with you. They won't go to any other applications only. And you know what, the major reason is, the customers are getting lazier day by day. The products that have been built in the industry are in such a way that it is making the users as lazy as possible. अब जैसे कि आप अगर ये एग्जांपल देखोगे विश लिस्ट का, don't you think wish list is an option where we are making our customers very lazy? है ना? If you wish list a product, ठीक है, you don't have to come back again and search for the same product and add to cart. You can save it somewhere. That is what wish list is doing for you, isn't it? So you will come up with some things like this, like some functionality like wish list, some different functionality. You might come up with some other innovative solution that you can reduce the number of steps for buying a product. Okay, this is something we called as a strategy also, right? So some things like this matters a lot for the business and for yourself also. Okay, so is there any doubts so far? No? So I hope this 5 stages in design thinking is very easy, right? The concept is clear, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So again, I'm asking you, if you have any doubt, you still have the time. Just ask any doubts on design thinking. If you don't have any doubt, I'll just go ahead with today's topic. Today's, I mean, the main topic, that is competitor research and competitor analysis. Do you have any doubts?
No, ma'am, we can go ahead.
Okay, okay, all right. So let's just skip to this competitor research and analysis. Okay. So, since I have already told you guys will be assigned with a project. Okay. So next time when you come, you're supposed to come up with this competitor analysis for that project. Okay. So this is the assignment for you. You have
Hello,
to, yeah, hello.
Swati ma'am.
Yeah,
Sorry for interrupt. This is Pradnya, faculty.
yeah.
So can I assign topics to the batch?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay, just give me a minute. Huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
First of all, everyone knows ki like your batch is your group, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. So I will call one by one batch name. So first of all, Sampada ma'am, first batch. The student names are Umkar, Anesh, Roshni, Dipali, Siddharth, Nikita, Tushar, Rutuja, Shubham, and Saili. So your topic is tracking app. Just write it down your topic name. Okay. Next batch, same Sampada ma'am. Next batch. Students' names are Balaji, Rutuja, Arti, Jugal, Anuprita, Rohini, Utkarsh, and Shivani. So your topic is communication app. Then next batch, students' names Niyati, Vaishnavi, Avisha, Vrushali, Abhishek, Abhijit, Karan, and Mohini. Your topic is finance app. Then same next batch, students' name Yash, Shweta, Shraddha, Varun, Amritesh, Aboli, and Sakshi. Your topic is productivity app. Then next, Mithila, Rohit, Ankita, Kasturi, Yashashri, Gaurav, Dastan, and Akash. So your topic is education app. Then next, Vishal sir batch, Sarvesh, and Vivek. Your topic is business app. Next, Ashlesha ma'am batch, student name Tanvi, Prerna, Vidya, Anushri, Manali, Srinidhi, Shivani, Vipul, and Bhakti. Your topic is health and fitness app. Then next, Satish sir batch, students name Priyanka, Geetesh, Yash, Khushbu, Dalsan, Prerna, Akash, Komal, Pramil, Abhishek, Monica, and Vijay. Your topic is emotional well-being app. Then next, Pradnamam batch. So student name Rutuja, Chitranshu, and Sachin. Your topic is productivity app. Then again next batch is Tejas, Krish, Aditi, Roman, Pankaj, Vishal, Veena, Sanjana, and Amey. Your topic is business app. Then next Shilpa ma'am batch. Students name Vinod, Swati, Harini, Mugdha, Rohit, Maitri, Swarangi, and Rutmika. So your topic name is medical app. And next batch Pavitra, Manisha, Rutuja, Supriya, Janvi, Shazeb, Chaitali, Mohit, and Nandana. So your topic is recreation activities app. So everyone is clear with your topic?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, fine. Yes, Swati ma'am, you can continue.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So let's start with understanding what is competitor research. Okay. So, can somebody tell me anything about what do you understand by competitor research or analysis, and why is it important? Why is it, why is it need to be done when you are starting up with building a product? By the name, you might understand why. What does that mean?
It helps us to understand basically what is happening in the market, what is already there, and also
Mhm.
what is the void in the market that we can target for our audience, and even what are the competitors exactly doing and what are they not doing. So it gives a clear data of that.
Yeah, yeah, good, correct. Anybody else who wants to add?
Ma'am, it help us to understand why customers choose to buy from uh, uh, buy from our competitors, and
Mm.
how is competition with their products in
Correct,
markets, and
correct,
to
correct.
yes, this can also improve our own marketing programs also.
Right, right. That is very
Yeah,
important to know. Yeah, correct,
yeah.
correct. Good.
Ma'am, we also get to know what users are already used to doing,
Hmm. Correct,
um, as well as their pain points.
correct, correct. Yeah, so what you said is right. We will get to know what already the customers are using. What you guys are telling is absolutely correct. Right? We need to know what our audience are already using. Right? What are they already accustomed to? Isn't it? Like, for example, if I say most of the e-commerce that you see, haven't you seen that the behavior of each e-commerce is almost same? Like the terminologies they use, add to cart, you know, the way they show the product, the way they have this functionality like wish list. Don't you think so? The behavior of most of the e-commerce platform is same.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yet,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. So yet, in fact, they are having most of the e-commerce platforms are having most similar behavior, but still, they are different from each other. Right? There are still some factors that are still, that makes the customer choose a particular platform most of the time. Like for example, I can say there are a huge number of people who would prefer only Flipkart. There are huge number of people who only would prefer Amazon. Right? The behavior is same, almost same, but still people are preferring two different platforms. Right? So we need to understand how the market is performing, right? What different we can do from other competitors, right? What are those things that we have to maintain in commonality when we are creating a product that is already existing in the market? Okay, so these things matters a lot when you are building a product, because I said this before, when you're building a product, you want the customers to come back to your product again and again, right? You wouldn't want a product to be built in a such a way where your customer use it for once and uninstalls it, isn't it? You want your customers to come back. So, most of the e-commerce platform, if you see, when they want their customers to come back to their platform, they are using something called as a e-wallet system, right? So these are some, they might be using some ethical, unethical things for attracting the customers, no doubt on that. But you need to understand that why is it important to bring your customers back to your platform, right? And it is not just like you are creating some unethical ways to bring your customers back, but you need to understand what are their pain points, right? What are their pain points which other e-commerce platforms are not catering to, There could be some of the problems that other application might not be, solving it, right? So you will get a very brief idea from this competitor analysis to how to design your questionnaire. Okay, so through competitor analysis, you will get a very right way ki which type of questions can, can cater to bring about a solution for the product that you are going to make that already exists, right? So again, competitor analysis is very important. Try to understand the existing market. Okay, there are very giant markets, isn't it? Still, there are people who are still building or coming up with more and more e-commerce platforms, isn't it? Yeah. So, there are actually many students who keep asking, there are already some products that already exist, right? So, how we can come up with, why do people need someone who can, generate new ideas and stuff? Right? So remember one thing, guys. Remember this one thing. Problems always exist. Problems is something that keeps coming up. Right? So until and unless problem exists, people crave for solutions. And remember one thing, solutions is something where the people with, this empathetic minded or creative minded people, only those kind of people can come up with, the best solution for larger target audience. Yeah, so this is one way where you can, look for what others are doing and you can come up with best ideas. Okay, so yeah, so there is a way how to do it. So we will be looking for some direct competitors, some indirect competitors. Okay, it is very important to, break down and understand what are direct and indirect competitors also. Okay, so again, we need to look for some USPs of other products or brands that already exist. USP क्या होता है? USP is nothing but unique selling point. Okay, so when you are looking for other products, there are certain criterias that you need to check. ठीक है, जैसे कि you need to check the demographic. ठीक है, you need to understand which target audience they are catering to. जैसे कि for example, if I say Nika's target audience, they have a larger target audience of female, right? And also, not just demography, the other thing that you need to understand is the geography. Even that matters a lot. ठीक है, for example, if I say I want to build an e-commerce platform for target audience who are based in India, right? So when I'm talking about creating an application where the target audience are based in India, I cannot, and it is not necessary to look for global brands or global, and I'm not talking about the global brands, sorry for that, the global, these applications that are functioning globally. Okay, it's good to check for that, no doubt. ठीक है, but it is more important to understand what are those applications that are majorly catering this particular geography, specifically India. If I am, building a product for India, right? Because I know most of the people, the people who are using e-commerce, they would be either buying from Amazon or Flipkart or Nika or some Mintra kind of stuff, right? I won't be talking about eBay and all. That is very less, or maybe not, right? Maybe you can look for, different functionalities, okay, but you cannot compare it with the audience, okay? So there is a very thin line between understanding that. Okay, so that is what I was telling you. It's very important to understand your target audience. Okay, once you understand your target audience, once you understand your age bracket, you are almost there. You are almost, you can start up with creating a very beautiful questionnaire for your those particular customers and users. Okay. So competitor analysis allows you to review how your company stacks up against both your direct and indirect competitors. Okay, so let's talk about what is direct competitors and indirect competitors. So direct competitors are basically, these are businesses that offer essentially the same products or services as your company. Okay, and indirect competitors are nothing but a classic definition of indirect competitors is a companies offering products and services that aren't the same as yours but could satisfy the same needs. Understood. So let me show you some. Okay, so let's talk about some examples first. Okay, so mm, can we see a e-commerce example? Okay, so there is no e-commerce example. ठीक है. So let's consider an e-commerce example because I know that is something that will relate to you better. ठीक है. So let's talk about the direct and indirect competitors. All right. So imagine that you have been assigned with a task where I have been asking you guys to build a product that is very much similar to Amazon. Okay, so what exactly is Amazon? Amazon is a brand that caters its audience with A to Z products. Basically, it has everything that you're looking for, right? So you're building a similar platform just like Amazon. Okay, so can you guys tell me who will be its direct competitors?
Flipkart.
Flipkart. Yeah, very
Flipkart.
good. Very good. Flipkart. What else?
Snapdeal,
Snapdeal. Very good. What else?
Shopclue,
Mm-hmm. What else?
Tata Click.
Okay, so does it have everything like what Amazon is catering to?
Yes, majority.
Okay. What else?
Alibaba.
Yeah, you can say Alibaba, but again,
Uh,
Alibaba is mostly into international. Okay,
okay.
it's more of Asian audience if you see.
Okay.
ठीक है, maybe you can just look
Yeah.
for the functionality that it has, but the target audience is not very much similar to what Amazon and Flipkart will be having. ठीक है, it will be
Okay.
having a different set of target audience as well.
Yeah.
ठीक है, we need to understand the geographical mentality also. ठीक है, because we know how Indians think when it comes to buying a product, right? We we have this thinking all the time that we need कुछ सस्ते में, है ना? We need everything in a very cheap rate. We need branded items in a cheap rate. ठीक है, I'm just giving you a very big example. ठीक है, so I'm just giving you this
Yes.
example to make you understand that mentality differs.
Okay.
Needs differs. Goals are very important. Goals differ. Okay, so if you
Yeah.
pick those particular competitors in your geography, so you will you can gather different types of similar goals so that it will be easier for you. ठीक है, so I hope direct competitors you are I mean you are on a right track. You whatever examples that you have given for direct competitors is absolutely correct. Now tell me some examples for indirect competitors.
Myntra. Delish.
Yeah, Mintra can be an indirect competitor, no doubt.
Agio, Urbanic.
Correct, correct. Nika, correct,
Nykaa,
Nika. Mhm.
Tata Click.
Tata Click,
Meesho.
correct.
Meesho.
Meesho,
Meesho.
yeah, even Meesho can be a part of it, correct. Yes. Okay, so understand one thing. इनडायरेक्ट कॉम्पिटिटर्स में वो ब्रांड्स आएंगे, वो प्रोडक्ट्स आएंगे which will be having online consumers, definitely yes, but they won't be having products that are similar to Amazon. Okay, those e-commerce platforms, it could be any e-commerce platform. ठीक है, it could be something like Nykaa, it could be something like Urbanic, it could be anything, anything that you say, Tata Click, it can also be Licious. Okay, they see they have people who are looking for online products, like what Amazon is doing, right? But these indirect competitors are not selling stuff that are similar to Amazon, but they do have an online platform. They do have online consumers. So try to understand the target audience. ठीक है, यहाँ पे बेस टारगेट ऑडियंस कौन है? ऑनलाइन कंज्यूमर्स, correct? And direct competitors are those people who will function very much similar to what you are doing. ठीक है, I hope it is clear, right? It's easy actually. Okay, so let's just take some examples. Let's just talk about some non-e-commerce applications also. Okay, so when you talk about some businesses like Google Meet, Zoom, LinkedIn, all this thing, ठीक है? So when you are trying to build a product that is something similar to this, so you can check for such application. Okay, so when you are talking about an communication platform, ठीक है, so you can consider these applications like WhatsApp, Truecaller. See, you know why they have mentioned about these applications are these are some of the applications that have been gained a lot of popularity, especially during COVID times. ठीक है, these are some of such examples. You can just go through it once. Okay, you can just check out this finance application also. There has been a humongous number of audiences they have gained during this COVID time. This GPay, PhonePe, and stuff. Right? If you are working on any financial app, you can just look at these examples. Okay. Okay, so let's just understand how you are supposed to plot your direct and indirect competitors. ठीक है, how can you present it? So I'll be just sharing you a small example or a template. ठीक है, so remember one thing. This is how you are supposed to plot your competitors. Okay, so the inner circle that you see in this, my screen is visible to you guys, right? Can you see a circular image?
Oh no.
No, ma'am. No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah, one second. Yeah, is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So this is how your image for competitor analysis would look like. Okay, this is how you are supposed to plot it. Okay, so the inner circle that you see, the core part of this diagram, it shows you the direct competitors. ठीक है, जितने भी direct competitors है, you are supposed to plot it inside this core circle. ठीक है, and in your outer circle, you are supposed to plot all your indirect competitors. All right. So, can somebody tell me how do you look for your competitors? Like, how do you find it? Where do you find it?
Ma'am,
Say
for direct competitors, we can say the ones who are providing same products or services that we are providing.
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
But how do you find it? Where do you look for those things? Where do you look for those competitors?
Google Play Store.
Oh,
Google Play
Yeah,
Store.
absolutely. See, if you are creating an application, definitely you need to look for App Store or this Play Store. Okay. What else? If I say if you want to build a website or something.
the applications that we are already using for the specific reason.
And in Google also there's a facility of comparing the two apps, competitive analysis basically. It's not like that. It's like what's the rating, how is the user output feedback. So if we do the comparison between two through that also we can able to come to know about that.
Yeah, so that is the next step that you will be doing. Okay, checking out the
Ma'am,
reviews and
search
stuff.
engines.
Yeah, definitely search engines. See, the point is, I don't want you guys to miss out on any competitors. ठीक है, so when I talk about say for example e-commerce itself, ठीक है, there are chances that you might miss out on some applications, right? You would be checking in your play store, as you would be putting some labels like search for e-commerce, right? So what the point is, the maximum you find your competitors, the better you will try to understand the market. ठीक है, so just see, you guys are working on group, right? So just make the complete use of the entire people who are working. ठीक है, जब सब लोग एक साथ काम करेंगे तो you will come up with more and more competitors, right? So just make use of the group that you're working in, right? So as much as possible, try to plot as much as competitors as you can. ठीक है, you can do play store search, you can do Google search. Okay, so I'll be showing you one more way to search that. Okay, so there is this website called as Similar Web. You can just write it down. I'll just share this link with you as well. ठीक है, so this website can actually give you some, some list of applications that are already there. ठीक है, some of the not actually some of the, in fact all the application that comes under a particular domain, they will show you all the applications in that. ठीक है, like for example, say for example I am looking for an e-commerce platform. Okay, say it has let's it would come in something called as marketplace. Okay, okay, so let's just take a random example for now. Let's take for example for this furniture. ठीक है, so I need to look for websites that cater audiences who are looking for buying online furniture, right? And I can just select the the geography that I'm looking for and just search it. See, it just gives you a full list of applications that are selling furnitures. Okay, so this is one way you can find some. ठीक है, and yeah.
So in this the list which is there, it's contain both the direct and indirect both competitors,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes, yes.
So
It
we
will.
just bifurcate both of them.
Yes, yes. That you need to do that.
Yeah.
ठीक है, why are you supposed to bifurcate that? Because you know your target audience and your goal of the project, isn't it?
Yeah.
ठीक है, so that you are supposed to do. Your USP is something that you have to decide. ठीक है, I have to decide कि I have to make something similar to Amazon. तो मेरे हिसाब से Amazon will come in direct.
Okay.
That you need to decide.
Okay.
ठीक है, this is just an way. This is just an one way to find some list of applications. ठीक है, so basically you're supposed to do as much as research as possible on this to find out as many as applications you can find. Okay, Okay, so when you are doing competitor analysis, so there are certain things that you need to consider. ठीक है? Understand your goal. Okay, you need to understand that why are you doing this competitor analysis? What do you hope to achieve? Right? Will this research impact UX decisions? Your goals should ideally be specific as possible and hopefully accessible. So consider the issues you are trying to address with the competitor analysis. ठीक है, अभी क्या करना है? What you guys are supposed to do? You guys have a list of competitors in your hand. ठीक है? What you guys will be doing is you will be plotting those competitors in your diagram. Okay, so the next step is you need to understand one thing that is very important. So let me take an example of e-commerce itself. ठीक है? E-commerce में what is important? The most important USP is buying a product. Isn't it? Most of the e-commerce, they are running their business by selling their product to their customer. Isn't it? Okay, so that is the major user flow. So when you are installing the competitor applications, you need to check that particular flow. ठीक है? You need to understand how other competitors have designed that particular flow in such a way that most of the users are still using that application. Okay, so when you are checking for that, you will understand what are the different strategies the other applications are using. Okay, it's not like you're just checking the aesthetics, just checking the colors, just checking the labels and stuff. You need to understand it in a UX point of view. You need to understand what kind of a different experience Amazon is giving that is different from Flipkart. Understood? Really know your competition. Again, this is a very important point. ठीक है? So it's very important to understand. So this is where you can, differentiate your direct and indirect competitors. Okay, so when you differentiate, you in itself you will understand, who are your exact competitors. What are things that you need to consider. ठीक है? Look for commonalities among your competitors. ठीक है? Commonalities मतलब क्या? The e-commerce example that I've gave you, the behavior of buying a product is almost same. ठीक है? The number of steps may vary. ठीक है? But the behavior is almost same. So you might have to use that same behavior in your application also. Right? You cannot think something very much out of the box and do something that is very very weird when you're trying to buy a product. But not weird, to be precise, I can say that is very different from what others are doing. Right? So the users might get very confused. They might feel very much inconsistent. Right? And last but not the least, you're supposed to analyze and summarize. ठीक है? When you're doing a research, you need to summarize what you have found, right? You need to understand what is that different thing that Amazon is doing. What is that something different that Flipkart is doing, right? Like for example, Flipkart has this system of they have this thing that is called as super coins. Right? If I buy something, so what Flipkart does is Flipkart gives me some number of super coins. So I can use those super coins next time when I buy a product. Right? So you need to understand that those small things matters a lot. Right? And what you can do is when you come next time, you can just present this diagram. We can discuss on this. Okay? And it will be really good if you can note down what are those things that you have found that is different from each applications. What are the different strategies each applications are using. Okay? You can look out for these points like the tone and copy of the competitor, good and bad features. है ना? Not just look for the good things. You can also figure out what are things that are not there in the existing applications. You can look for some user reviews. You can look for the waiting and load times. That matters a lot. Like for example, if you see, I don't remember which application. I think it's Mintra. So what Mintra does is during the loading period, ठीक है, when it is trying to load something that I am looking for, what Mintra does is it gives me a quote. Have you seen that? Have you observed that it gives me a small quote or a small
Yes,
statement?
it's about
Yeah.
fashion or even a
Yeah.
famous statement made by some big designers.
Yeah, absolutely. So have you seen that how Myntra is trying to engage users when it is trying to load its products? Okay, this is one kind of a strategy. Okay, that small things also matters a lot. So I don't mind, waiting for Myntra to load its product because I just love to read the codes that is given by some, influential people. It's very interesting to read it out.
So, ma'am,
Yeah.
it also helps in engaging the customer so that he does not get distracted.
Exactly. Engagement. Engagement matters a lot. Right, see, Mintra knows that most of the target audience for them is females. Right, and most of the females are into reading these stuffs, checking out the style statements by different influential people. So they know these people love to read stuff like this. So they are using such kind of a strategy to hit the psychology of their target audience. Right, customer services, the design they have. Okay, you need to consider these factors and it will be really helpful for you when you are building your product. Okay, again what I am telling you is try to criticize the existing product. That is when you can come up with correct questions and correct solutions for your design or your solution that you're trying to bring up with. ठीक है, I hope you guys are clear what you guys are supposed to come up with next time, the assignment for next time. Is it clear? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it's actually very simple and easy, right?
Yes, Swati ma'am.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupt. Students, feedback form enter in the chat box. Please fill up the feedback form as it's very important for your attendance. So please fill the feedback form.
Yeah. So, students, any doubt so far? I think we can end our sessions here. But if you have any doubts, you can just clear it out right now, right away.
Ma'am, could you
Yeah.
just give me an example or something just for the direct and indirect to differ between both? Because the line is very pretty thin when it comes to at least e-commerce or any other apps. So,
Yeah, so the examples that we gave just now was for e-commerce, right? The one that I told you that if I want to build something that is similar to Amazon, ठीक है? So direct competitors में क्या क्या आएगा? Amazon आएगा, Flipkart आएगा, ठीक है? We can also take Paytm Mall. Even that has a lot of products in it that is similar to Amazon.
so Snapdeal and everything, but even
Snapdeal,
Myntra
yeah.
आ सकता है as indirect because it sells clothes and clothes is also a part of what Amazon sells. So is that how are we supposed to think?
No, it's not a part of what Amazon is selling, but you need
Okay.
to understand we need to look for online consumers, e-commerce online consumers.
Okay.
ठीक है, तो मिंत्रा क्या कर रहा है? It is selling only clothes. ऐसा सोचो. It is not selling some different things what Amazon is also selling. ठीक है, but it is catering to same audience. ठीक है, जैसे कि for example think of this. If I am someone who is looking for clothes. ठीक है, so I can go to Amazon also and I can also go to Myntra, isn't
Yeah.
it? But I am some kind of a person who likes to buy not just clothes online, but I like to buy more than something which are just not a cloth. ठीक है, अगर उस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में मैं सोचूंगी तो क्या आएगा? Amazon will be my direct competitor. See, I am an online consumer and I buy everything from online. ठीक है, like for example, I buy table, I buy chair, I buy let's say some grocery items, I buy some clothes. ठीक है, I like to buy everything. ठीक है, so I am an online e-commerce consumer. Okay, so I would prefer to go to Amazon. ठीक है, Amazon will be Amazon. If you are making a product, तो डायरेक्ट कॉम्पिटिटर कौन होगा? Amazon ही होगा. But if you check Myntra, it definitely has clothes, but it doesn't have other things that Amazon will be having.
Yes, ma'am.
ठीक है, I hope it's not confusing. Just don't think too much. Just think about
So
what you want to make.
yeah, ma'am, excuse me. So ma'am, they both differ by products or by audience or consumers, we can say.
Consumers.
Consumers. Okay.
Consumers
Okay.
and also by the product. ठीक है,
Okay.
but you need to understand the consumers first.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
ठीक है, is it clear now or should I explain it again? Because it's
No,
very
ma'am.
important to understand this.
No, ma'am. It's pretty clear now.
Clear na? So again I am reiterating it. So what you are supposed to do is you are supposed to understand what you want to make. ठीक है, let's say for example you guys have assigned with this domain called as communication. ठीक है, so communication में first what you guys will do is first you guys will sit and brainstorm and understand what you guys want in your application. ठीक है, see it's too early to say what you want and what you don't want, but you will be having a fair idea कि ऐसा मुझे कुछ करना है. ठीक है, so what you will know is you will understand कि ये जो particular चीज मैं जो बनाना चाहता हूँ या चाहती हूँ, ठीक है, is there any application that is similar to what I am thinking of? ठीक है, so I am thinking to build something like WhatsApp, something similar to WhatsApp but different than WhatsApp. ठीक है, I will be adding some more features into it, but it will function similar to how WhatsApp is functioning. ठीक है, तो my direct competitors will be WhatsApp, my direct competitor can be Telegram or something.
Ma'am, then the indirect competitor will be Snapchat, I think. In that case.
See, yeah, Snapchat हो सकता है, Telegram भी हो सकता है.
Ma'am, I
Sorry,
think so Telegram
Instagram.
would be a
Instagram.
direct one because
No, sorry,
the
Instagram.
pictures are very common and
Yeah, I
plus
was
the
talking
audience
about.
will be common.
Yeah, I'm talking about Instagram. Direct में it could be Telegram. Indirect में you can have Instagram, Facebook, all those stuff.
Understood, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's simple, right? And
Yes.
don't worry, guys. Next time when you will be coming, we'll be discussing on this. So if you have any doubts when you're searching for competitors, you can discuss next time also. But just map out what could be your possible competitors and indirect competitors. Also, I want you guys to know what are your target audience. Maybe you can just bring a group of age bracket or a type of people you are targeting to. ठीक है, like it could be students or it could be some professionals, or say for example if you're targeting a particular age group, so say from age group of 18 to 30 or age group of 30 to 40 or something. So think about that also, even that is very important. Right now you are in an empathize stage. ठीक है, now you are entering into this stage called as empathize. So you need to think all these things, these dimensions of how you can empathize your customers by using these different strategies. ठीक है, so competitor analysis is one such strategy. Again, you are trying to get into your user's mind. कैसे? By understanding the current market. Okay, so when somebody asks you how do you empathize and stuff, so ये सब strategies आपको बताना है. These all things are a part of empathize. ठीक है? Any other doubts? Okay, so if you don't have any doubts, just fill up the form. Okay, and we can meet next time and discuss the assignment that you have worked on. Okay. Okay, guys, then thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your
Thank you so
time.
much, ma'am.
Have a good day.
Yeah, thank
Thank you,
you,
Thank
thank
ma'am.
you, thank you,
Bye,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.